Yo, 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 what's going on? Good to see everybody. All those smiley faces. What's going on, Shiny? Good to see you. Great to see you here. You made it today. I'm glad, very glad. I didn't even get a chance to reply to your comment yesterday. Um, I was hanging, like pulling down an old curtain and hanging an old curtain all last night. Or hanging a new curtain, whatever. Trying to like get help my wife set up her makeup desk thing and like have it all be well designed and whatnot. And yeah, so that's what I was doing. It's very quiet. Can y'all hear the music? All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Yeah, I like barely made it here today, man. I was like rushing down here trying to get everything done on time. Overslept a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the charts. I haven't even taken a look at the charts yet. So looks like what is this about the open here? No, it's 5:15. Open is right here. So we actually dropped at the open on the S&P. We're almost up 1% though on the day. So that's pretty awesome. We're actually up 41.82 when yesterday we were trading in the 41.50 range. So looks like we held our gains from yesterday. Uh, ES is up almost $40 today. So we dropped at the open. We held around 41.50, which this area was an area of resistance yesterday, which it blew right past. I honestly felt like I could have kept on trading yesterday, but I shut it down early because I felt like decision fatigue was oncoming. Um, wow, look at yesterday, like noon or like 11:30. Wow, shoosh. Was this one candle? Yeah, we're on the 1 minute chart. Look at that. Went from 41.62 up to 41.80, $18, 18 times 4, however many ticks that is. Excuse me. 72 ticks. That's a heck of a candle. So that was yesterday. And yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into today. I saw so many sneezes. All right, so we are bouncing up off of VWAP. We did have a TTM, a cyan switch rip. So we had this like red to green move on the day. That left us ripping all the way up to here. We're gonna draw in some resistance area right there at 41.75. That's like such a textbook spot. And this one was 41.50. Wow. It's like literally $25 increments. That's so textbooky. All right. So now we are bumping up against 41.85. All right, so we're gonna do what we've been doing all week, where we're going to be very patient, and if we end up taking more trades, less trades, it doesn't really matter to us. What we're really looking to do is just be patient and wait for a momentumous move. We are up $728.52 in our evaluation, and I intend to go higher. I intend to earn funding this time around. And if I'm going to do that, the discipline is the main thing that I'm going to be needing. So, what can we feel comfortable with in taking ticks? We went from 41.73.50 to, so that's like 10 ticks right there. This momentum move was like $5, so that's like 26. And if you're trying to figure out how many ticks it takes to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop, it's basically 4 ticks per dollar. So this one, it honestly, as I'm looking at this, I see one very big move followed by consolidation, then a second move, kind of smaller, followed by some consolidation, then a third move higher. Now we're in a position where we may come up and test these highs, but we are getting some convergence on the 1226, so the 26 is rising up, so we may run into this 4185 as resistance, or we may actually come up and test these highs, because we've already basically put in 3 moves already. So by putting in those 3 moves, a lot of times, if you guys know, I don't like to trade past the third move, and that's just because it's rare for something to make a fourth move without a pullback. So we got a 50-200 crossover here. I wouldn't be surprised if this pulls back to the 50. We are getting some cooldown on the TTM, but it's not much. And because it's actually holding this much on the TTM, that's why I'm hesitant to make this be the call. Instead, like I'm basically torn 50-50 on whether or not this is going to rip up and test highs, or fall down and test the 50. It looks like it wants to go test highs. Where are we on? 3 ticks. Bounce off of 82 wouldn't be bad. We're running right into that resistance right there. We got 15 seconds left on this candle. I'm going to start off with 2 ticks. 3 seconds. Next candle. More bullish than I am bearish at the moment. Right now we're hitting a slight red, almost like a hammer. I check the 5. The 5 is looking solid. On the 5, it's only 2 moves. So on the 5, there's this one huge rip, then the consolidation, and the second rip. Now we're on the 3rd. So on the 5-minute aspect of things, it's looking pretty strong. 1 minute. $10 seconds left on this candle. You need a doji at the top. I think it's going to break out, honestly. I don't think it's going to fall over. But the Q is, when is it going to break out? So honestly, kind of looks like right about here. And join the bid. See if I even get filled. I didn't get filled. That would have been a nice trade. Joining the bid again.
Order filled.
Got filled. Going for 2 ticks to the upside. Oh, down 4, 3. May have to cut this. It's right at our risk level. I don't like that.
Order filled.
Okay, we got that. That was a kind of a sketchy one. I honestly thought it was going to pop up a little faster than that. Gratefully, it popped up on the next candle. But I feel like it should have ripped past that right then and there. So for that reason, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. We did make $41.28 after fees on that one. For that reason, I'm going to wait for a candle that looks more like this, where we're getting a lot more rippage happening. Our peak of this TTM was 6.3. We've pulled back to 4.2 on the TTM. That's a very small pullback for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cooldown candles. That's a very small pullback. It does look like this one's pulling back a little bit more though, TTM wise. My nose is running today. Just one sec. All right, I'm back. Thanks for sticking with me. Y'all hear me? All right, cool. Okay, so we did get another tiny little pop there. That's the move I was expecting here. So how have you been, Tiny? I saw that you've been trading futures in paper. When we last spoke, you mentioned that you had earned 150 in paper trading, and then you were on the chat and you said you made 62.50. Are you trading 5 contracts of the ES? Got a red dot on the TTM. Red dot on the TTM is pretty much tends to be indicative of like a don't buy here signal. Usually that's what the green dots indicate that it's a safer buy. It's not 100% accurate, especially not on futures. On futures, the TTM lags a little bit behind more so than it does on stocks. On stocks, it's very accurate. On futures, it's mostly accurate. So I do pay attention to this, but futures is much closer to raw trading than stocks is. Stocks is I can use a lot of indicators that are extremely reliable. In futures, the indicators are mostly reliable. So, so we did get a test of that push up there, and ran into resistance at 41.85. And our high of the day is 41.87, which was where? Looks like it was in the pre. It was in the after hours last night around 11:45 p.m. So that's when we hit that. We actually have some stuff in this zone here. Oh, I think I already put that down though. It's like 41.75. I think like this 41.80 level is a really important area too. I'm gonna put that, yeah, like right there. Let's throw that in. I'm gonna put it a little higher than 41.80 because it is a little higher than 41.80. Getting a nice little pop off of consolidation. This is a very long flag here. What's the time? 45. So we should have 3 more candles on the 5 to take a look at since we last looked. So I guess what we'd really be looking for is the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. That 5-minute candle to make a new high would really set up for another run So after this really big run here, this really big rip up, this red to green move after the open, and this like almost 20 minutes, like 15 to 20 minutes in consolidation, we had another big rip to the upside, adding almost $13 or around actually like closer to $18 to the mix. Now we're getting some consolidation after a little bit of a climb up there. This candle's looking pretty nice actually. Wait for a pullback. Join the bid there. Didn't get filled, so I'm going to cut that. Sometimes I feel like I should be buying market. I obviously would get filled if I hit buy market. 6.5. But when I hit the join the bid, I'm trying to get in usually at a level of some kind. Expect a little pullback here. I would not be surprised if we come up and test these highs. You're up $34, or is that 3,400? 34, I guess. Don't do market. You get hosed every time. You're not wrong. Look at that pullback. Yeah, you're not completely wrong. A lot of the time, if you do market, you're gonna get filled at the very top or the very bottom of that candle because that's what the market is asking of you. And I've made really good money in futures doing buy market. Whenever I trade TOS, I buy market. But I do the bid here because those are actually really the levels, like the levels often that I'm trying to get into. But a lot of times I don't get filled and I miss the move, and that's always frustrating to me. But I'd rather miss a move and lose nothing than buy market at the top of a candle and then lose to $300, $400 or whatever. I don't think I'd ever let it get to that like $400 mark. My risk level is $100, and I've been kind of staying true to that this time around. And so long as I'm not trading at the open, the candles don't whip around like super crazy. At the open, like I did one evaluation a few like right before I started streaming, where I had signed up for a brand new. I reset my account, and traded at the opening bell, and within the same candle, so my very first trade, I took that trade. It whipped down or whipped the opposite way against me, kicked me out of my position, and then whipped back the other way and would have made that a very profitable trade. But that time that it took, where it whipped down and kicked me out of my position, I mean, that was $75 spent right there because it failed my eval right then and there, super quick. So I don't trade that. I don't trade the open with futures. It's a nice little run up here, at least on that last candle. We're getting close to a divergence here, or a convergence, I should say. We're getting close to a convergence here. You can see TTM has cooled off almost completely. Now we had this situation happen right here, somewhat closely above the VWAP where where this took place. So is this going to happen again, where we've cooled off to the point to where we came very close to crossing to the downside, where the TTM has cooled all the way down and then we stack back up? Or will we actually get a downward cross and move back down towards the 50 or possibly the VWAP? Questions of the ages. So $34. That's good though. Your red 700 bones and the paper counts from the last 2 years of trying. If you're only read $700 over 2 years, that's not bad. Just saying. But Tiny, I actually do think you got this. I just think that like get in on the momentous candles, like the candles like this, where you're seeing that sort of like rip up happen, and then don't try and go for the full move. At least these are my thoughts. If I was telling somebody who was trying to earn funding, this is the thing that I would say. I would say go for like somewhere between 2 and 5 ticks. With at least 2 contracts. And as this is ripping up, that's when you either buy a market or join the bid on the way up. And essentially, you're looking to get in and out of like in the middle of that candle. So it is a scalp type strategy. It's a scalp type move. But the idea here is that anybody can do this. Like to take longer or bigger swings. You really have to be confident in your trading strategy. And I can say unequivocally that if there was an algorithm out there that could be applied, I think that if you were to be able to say if this 9 is above the 12 and that 12 is above the 35 and the 26 is below, and the TTM has turned cyan, take a long position and hold it until the 9 crosses under the 12, or the 12 crosses below the 26, and you would take advantage of this run here from 41.54 all the way up to right there is where it actually would have sold, would be 41.82. So whatever that is, $28, I think. 82 minus 54, yeah, 28. Multiply that by your 4 ticks, 112 ticks at 2 contracts. So that's 25. It's $2,800. And that type of swing is something that could be done, but I wouldn't trust myself to do that manually. That's something I would absolutely want an algorithm or something like that to be able to do. Yeah. Yeah, I look for at least a 2 tick move when I enter and practicing market cycles moves to gauge trends better. I think that's very valuable. Just even that you're practicing that, like listen to what you just said. I'm practicing market cycle moves. Like that's not everyday common vernacular. Like Tiny, you're an expert. Like you've been doing this a long time, and I believe that I fully believe that you're an expert at this. I genuinely do, or at least an expert enough to the level um, to where you can absolutely be profitable. That's my thought process on this, Tiny, and I believe that just because I've seen you these last couple of years in the BT chat, and I read what you say and all that, and I don't know. I believe in you. I believe because you show up every day and you put in the work, and like that's honestly what it takes to be successful at this. We are getting a pullback to that 50, but there's more to that. There's also what is the mindset? What are some of the other things that are going into it? Ask yourself those questions. Take that time to reflect on what you're feeling emotionally when you go through a trade. Which, knowing you, I'm sure that you probably already have done. So what's holding you back? That's a cue that I'm curious about. We did pull back to the 50, and we are also going red on the TTM. And now the question is, are we going to bounce at this 50? And if we do bounce to this 50, are we going to get another crossover move to the upside? frankly, it looks like, and this is why I was not trading heavily through this, looking for that breakout above the highs, because it did that one move, the second move, the third move, and this is kind of like a fourth move. So, and as I've stated, I typically don't trade past the third move unless I really see an opening, which it did here. Um, but yeah, I typically don't trade past the third move. I wouldn't be surprised if this does not hold and we get a pull back to the VWAP, which honestly I think is perfectly fine because VWAP's at 68 and this resistance level is at 85. So it's about $20 above. When it comes to the ES, I would call that extension at that point. Where I don't see extension is like around here, this like 41.75, where it's like just a couple of bucks up. That's where I don't see that much extension on the ES. You can hear the music, right? It's kind of like quiet in my headphones, so I wonder if I just like have it turned down too much or something. How's the music volume, if you don't mind my asking? For those of you just joining us, oh, what? You have no music? Really? Daisao? Can you hear it now? Maybe I didn't share my system audio. Thought I did.
At first I said that I love you when you ain't say that. Back
It's like track that comes up. Okay, so it was just turned down too low. Okay, cool. For those of you just joining us, we're up $41.28. Kind of a small day at the moment. We got in. This is 7:30 here. So there was a nice move right when we signed on, and then we took a little scalp move up here near the top, and we were talking about a pullback to the 50, which is this green line here, which we did get. And now the question is, do we get a bounce off this 50? And if we do get a bounce off that 50, are we going to see the 9/12/26 crossover? Right now, we're seeing the 9 cross below the 35, which may indicate some downward, even more downward movement. The TTM is stacked in red, so again, may indicate more downward movement. If this 12 gets below the 35, then that's going to potentially give us even more push to the downside. The 26 and the 12, though, are not very far away, and I've seen this reversed before, especially off of a strong support level like the 50 EMA. So the real question out of all that stuff that I just said is, do we hold this green line here? Do we hold the 50? If the answer is yes, then we should get a bounce probably through this 4180 level and come back up to retest this like 4185 level. If the answer is no, and this does flip below, next area is the pullback, or so next area for the pullback to end is around the VWAP. That'd be looking for the next area of support. There is a little bit of a case for support here, which I'll draw in right here. Call it there. Which happens to be at 4172. So there is a case for support there because you can see tapped it here a couple of times. This area here is pretty close to it, although it's down to the VWAP. But there was also a little bit of resistance here. And as well as this area acted as both resistance, and then when it popped up, acted as support. So so this area here as a support level, this area here as a resistance level. I'm going to extend this out. Let's extend all these out because they're kind of running into these levels pretty well. So we did not hold the 50, not on that candle anyway, and we are continuing to push to the downside. I might look for a short position off of 41.75 or so. If we can get a pullback up. Did not get that pullback up. I still think we might get this pullback up. It's a pretty big momentous candle. When I say pullback up, by the way, I'm talking about this candle retracing some of its move and then falling off of that. So really didn't get that. This candle has almost no wick to it on either side. So that's kind of weird. And I'm looking for candles with wicks because it can play those wicks. So may go for 5-6 feels a little heavy to me. Connection is fairly good. If I'm on Wi-Fi, try plugging in. How's the connection? Everything fine? Gave me some weird like connection is pretty good, but not really. A little bit of a pushback up. I don't trust it though. Not yet. Not until this switches to yellow. If this switches to yellow, then I would be a little bit more bullish on the move. Which it did right at the very end, but this next one's red. So if the one after this is yellow, I might take a position to the up. Okay, we may bounce off that. It's looking promising for another move to the up after this pullback. Seconds, 17. Guess we gotta figure out what this next candle does, because this one, like, yeah, it went red, but barely. I mean, it didn't pull back to this level here, or pull back anywhere close to it. Literally held a lot of what the last candle put in. I don't know whether to be bullish or bearish right now. That's why I'm not taking a position. It feels more bearish to me, but going for short there. Cut it.
Order filled.
Made I think 3 ticks off that one. We're up 107.56. I probably could have got the full 5 ticks, but I didn't want to risk it. Yeah, that would have been the 5 ticks right there. I just trying to build up that cushion. So up 107.56 on the day. Sitting up 936.08 in our evaluation, and we're continuing to push down on both the TCM and the chart itself. The 12 has now crossed below the 50, so that we get the 912 diverging to the downside, with the 1250 diverging to the downside. And if 35 gets below the 50, then we're going to see even more momentum to the downside. Likely should have taken that full 5 ticks, but I cut it early because I just didn't want to see this candle retrace. Because if you'll notice, what happens with a lot of the candles is they'll go heavy in one direction and then retrace a bunch and then drop again. And that's kind of like what the whole strategy is, really, is like if this big green candle wicks up and then pulls back some, then you enter in on that pullback and have that bounce back up. So I was mentioning a pullback to the VWAP. It looks like we may get that. It's actually looking like a pretty strong case for that. Continue to push to the downside. Definitely should have taken another position here. Still a learning process for me, guys, as well. Never going to pretend to be an expert. I'm just doing my best, like all of us out here. I want to go short, but it also looks like it could literally put in a big green candle on the next one. So I'm going to wait. We did get a green candle on the next one. Not that big, at least not yet. But the reason why I didn't take a position was because we had these 4 red candles in a row that fell down pretty reasonably. So I imagine that a lot of shorts would be covering at this point and taking their profit. And so because of that, I chose not to get in. So, all right. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and, ring the bell for notifications and all that. Just put yourself green on the day. Woo! Great job, Tiny. Up 137 on the last trade. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Tiny, that's great, man. Hey, what's up, Spac? Great to see you, man. Can I still use the 1 to 2 tick strategy? Yeah, I can. Yeah, I absolutely do use the 1 to 2 tick strategy, Spac, but I've been experimenting with higher ticks. So the 1 to 2 tick strategy is very effective. If you're doing 2 contracts in Tradeovate, Elite Trader Funding, whatever, you're going to pay $8.72 in fees, but you'll make $25. So your net profit is $16.28. So I've been going for a little bit higher ticks just because of the fees, but it is still profitable. It's just a matter of I've been trying to trade bigger, if that makes sense. So I've been taking less trades with more profit on them. But the 1 to 2 tick strategy absolutely does work. If you notice, my first trade of the day was a 2 tick. So I actually did that strategy here. We used the 2 tick strategy right here, which is just like click, just a quick profit off of that. So we are getting that turnaround there. There's that yellow on the TTM. We'll see if this now pulls up and tries to test 75. So yeah, you can totally use that SPAC. It still works quite well. Getting out of the hole slowly. Tiny, I absolutely believe in you, Tiny. Like I really do. Like when I say that, I'm not, it's no cap. I'm not trying to gas you up or nothing. I genuinely believe that you are a really good trader and that you have the capability of becoming profitable. I genuinely believe that. With as much time as you put in the simulator and just like that diligence in that work ethic, like it really, that right there is like, that's something that you can't teach. Like that's so hard to get people to do, is to have that work ethic and that diligence, and to like let's be honest, like staring at charts is not like the funnest thing in the world, but we do it because this is the skill that we're trying to achieve. Atta girl, Tiny. Absolutely. Love it. Okay, so we are holding support at that level in this sort of the support area off of around 4170 on the ES. We're getting a turnaround on the TTM slightly. Okay, so if we look at this, we cap down at about. Let me see if I can pull this up a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. Wrong one. So we tapped 5.5, and then now we're sitting at about 4.5. So there's not enough momentum on the TTM for me to actually see a reversal in the trend. I'd be looking more for like what you see like back here, where it's going from like 0.2 to like 1.5, and from 1.5 to like 2.2, or like close to 3, to where it's like there's some sort of exponential growth. Like if it's like 5 candles and you move like 1 point on the TTM, it's not enough to really give it call it a reversal. So what I would really be looking for now is the 9 to get above the 12. If the 9 gets above the 12, there's a high probability we're going to push up, and that we'll test this 26 level, or if nothing else, that's 50. So, but I may take a long position on one of the next green candles. Because I could see a somewhat momentumous rip towards this 4175 level. We've got some pretty high volume candles here at about 4600. So I think that we may see another rip towards the upside. Slowly building back to, I'm glad we stuck through the lows. Yeah, me too, man. I'm glad I did too. We got a pretty decent amount of viewers. Y'all could like and sub and hit the bell for notification. That stuff helps the channel grow. I appreciate that. Start clicking more and more. Yes, they do, man. Yes, they do. Also, guys, too, if you guys want to check out Elite Trader Funding and try to earn funding in the futures market, y'all can check out the link in the description. This is the software that I'm using and the program that I'm using in order to earn this funding. Currently, we're up $936 in our evaluation. We're about halfway. If you use the link in the description, it'll help support the channel. You can also use promo code JSBEST, which is in the description, and you'll get 50% off for life on your account. You'll get free resets at rebill if you happen to be in a position where you've broken a rule. So definitely check them out. Their customer service is great, which is something I really, really, really look for in a company. And that 50% off works on every single product they have, with the exception of the fast track evaluations, because those are already really, really cheap. Okay, so after this big upwick candle on this green here, I mentioned that I would be looking to go potentially long on the next green candle. We didn't get that next green candle, so we ended up pushing back down, and now we're below that support level, 4172 that I drew in. Now I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back to the VWAP. Oh wow, big pullback. Huge pullback, drop below the VWAP. Man, I wish I was shorting that. Oh my gosh. 41 cents. So that's like $3. That's like 36 ticks. That's a lot. Okay. New candle. Wouldn't be surprised if it was green. That's a pretty momentous move right there. Maybe the word is momentous, and I'm saying momentumous. Oh well. Got that Joel language. Now we're gonna see if the 200 holds as support.
Order
We got in a
filled.
short position there. Looking for a continued move to the downside. Ready to cover.
Order
Got
filled.
5 ticks on that one. Nice. That puts us up 228.84 on the day. Taking a nice 5 tick rip. I bet it continues downward. Although with that much of a drop, we may see some people covering. Definitely some short opportunities in here. If I was in TOS, I'd be clicking that button over and over. I should have taken another one. Whoa. Continuing to drop down. Wow. All right, that's looking crazy. Hey, thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. That's looking crazy. I definitely could have taken another trade on that. And I just didn't, just because this had already fallen so much. But we had 3 momentum candles to the downside. So where do we go from here? Are we going to see a bunch of people covering those shorts and rip up to the 200? I don't know. But I definitely, this is really all I'm looking to do right now. Is I'm not trying to capture this entire move. I'm trying to capture a portion of this candle, or a portion of this candle. You know, I'm just essentially trying to capture a portion of these, because those scalps, they add up. You know, I mean, you've seen it right here that on some of the days that we've traded, we've actually been able to pull like $3,500 out of the market in the simulator, just trading these momentum moves, doing it to us. Now, we haven't done that in our evaluation yet, but I do hope to be trading that way eventually with features. Make sure y'all join our mailing list as well. It's the very first link in the description. And when you guys join our mailing list, you'll get reminders about our stream. You'll also receive promo codes, discounts, and things like that in there. But you'll also get contemplative conversation that I don't share anywhere else. Now, some of those emails have not gone out yet. But that's only because we're just getting started with a lot of stuff. You know, over the next 90 days, you'll see a lot of change and growth in the brand and everything. So I'd love for you guys to be a part of that if you're interested. Join the email list and, you know, get updates from me. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red candles in a row. This one filling in as a hammer. The bulls won that one, just barely. Those bulls bears volume chart is really cool. It's like this bulls versus bears volume indicator. Yeah, trying to learn how to hold longer this summer. But I'm just more of a scalper most of the times, and just tiny, just the ability to be able to recognize that is so valuable. That's so huge. Like I think that like a lot of traders just don't take this time to reflect or even think about that. They you know, they instead look at it from the perspective of like, I should be taking swings. I should always be taking swings. Or, you know, I did fine when I scalped, but I'm looking for more. I'm looking for bigger. You know, like no, like solid growth. Like that's I'd rather make $200 a day than have one day where I make 1,000 and 5 days where I lose 200. You know what I mean? So I'd rather just earn $200 a day that I can much more count on. So don't look up to me. I'm just a noob. We're equals. Both still learning and growing. We're all learning and growing here too, you know. Yeah, Tiny, I genuinely believe this. You are a lot, like you are way more ahead of a lot of people. the learning never does stop. This is this right here. And that like when I was doing digital marketing, that was the same way. Because the market trends are always changing, people's perceptions are always changing, consumer behavior is always changing. Do I still trade stocks? Yes. I do still trade stocks, but I've been far more focused on futures recently, this last like month and a half, and that's because I really just, as I began to trade futures more, my stock trading began to suffer some. Like I felt like I was getting into trades just because I felt like I needed to take a trade that day. And for the last like 2 weeks, I've basically been losing money on stocks. And so I was just like, you know what, heck with it. I'm just going to go full on futures for the time being. And that's what I did. And it's really, really helped, actually. So my futures, my gains in this evaluation have been far more reliable than any of my other evaluations where I was attempting to basically do both in the same day. And I still am going to trade stocks. And, you know, that's why I still show up to the BT live stream and stuff like that, because I just love the community there. And like, I just love a lot of the people there. And I still trade stocks. So, you know, it's still a good place to be. And I guess I just feel like there's more profit available in the futures market for what I would consider to be less effort. And I say less effort because in the futures market, I only have to look at one thing. Like I look at one chart. I don't need to look at like 55 different charts and figure out what's moving. Futures are taxed less than stocks are. So their futures has tax advantages to it. So, you know, when I trade futures, like when it comes time to actually claim taxes on futures winnings, I couldn't explain because I only, you know, recently learned how it works, so I couldn't really explain it. But the blended tax rate of futures trading was significantly less than the blended tax rate of trading in stocks. So that's another thing with futures as well, is that, you know, there's just some advantages to it that just stocks doesn't have. Getting another pullback here. Honestly felt like taking a short off that position, but I think I'm going to drop down to 3 ticks. Gonna wait for a partial rip up in that candle. Right here was actually where I wanted to enter, and it already did that. We just missed that move. We were about to take it and just missed it, and it actually hit way bigger than I thought it was going to. Gonna join the ass there. Didn't get filled. That would have been a nice trade.
Order filled. Order filled.
Just took 3 ticks on that one. Up 290 on the day. 290 and 12 cents. Sitting up 1,086 and 64 cents in our evaluation. So we did it, by the way. We officially passed over our halfway mark in the evaluation. So our goal is to make $2,000. We passed over 1,000. Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Boom. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're lurking. Appreciate it. Yeah, Tiny. This was that was actually pretty enlightening for me. If you look it up, there's a lot of information on YouTube about it, but if you look it up, it will actually, like, there's a couple videos I found, and I'm probably going to take them and put them into like a resource guide or something, but where they basically walk through exactly, like, if you made 15,000 in stocks versus 15,000 in futures, and they break down, like, you know, what your blended tax rate would be based off of that. So it's it ended up being pretty significantly different. So there's just stuff like that that I think about, and I think about taxes a lot. In just because I've like, my wife and I have owned an LLC for more than a decade. So, when we look at taxes, like that's why, like, when we would help other businesses, one of the very first things we would do is look at their tax filing status. It's funny because like a lot of people will get like an LLC and they're like, I'm good. And like, no, you need to choose a tax classification, because if you don't, like, you're going to be paying the highest tax rate. Like, self-employment is the highest tax rate in America. Out of anything. Like, self-employment people pay on average 58% of the revenue of their company, not the net income, not the net profit, but 58% of the revenue of their company. So if their company made $100,000 before expenses, they would have to pay 58 grand on average in taxes. And that 58K that they pay in taxes, they only have 42K. And out of that 42K, that's where all their operating expenses go and their wage. But if they just simply were to change their tax classification to like an S or a C corp or something like that, they would save so like thousands upon thousands of dollars. And typically, if they have less than 100 employees, they would go with an S classification, and that S classification in there would save them tens of thousands of dollars, just literally tens of thousands of dollars, because it's no longer taxed on revenue, it's taxed on actual profit, which very much matters. And then because you can deduct your expenses at that point, which you can't really do very well in a sole prop, or even in a standard LLC that's being taxed as a sole prop. So like, it would just drive me crazy when I would see people not do it. And I get it, you don't know what you don't know, but once somebody teaches you, then if you don't take that action, then that extra money that you spend on taxes, that's on you. Okay, so getting a bit of a trend reversal, push towards the VWAP. The 200 could act as very solid resistance, as it often does. I wanted to take a long here, but it was a little sketchy. I'm glad that we got that one, because it very clearly ripped up after that one. After that momentum moved to the downside. I don't like this track. This track messes with my ability to make decisions. Well, I'm switching it. Knowing he's half the battle, according to G.I. Joel. Oh, G.I. Joe. I thought he said G.I. Joel. Oh, dude, that's awesome. I honestly should shut it down there. I'm going to get to some stuff on the day. I think LLCs have great tax breaks. Yes, Tiny, they do have great tax breaks, but they only have tax breaks if and only if you choose a tax classification, because if you don't, it will default your tax classification to sole proprietorship. So an LLC in and of itself gets no tax benefit. You must select and elect a tax classification, whether that is S or C or sole prop. Those are the only real three. There's also partnership, but partnership is taxed as a sole prop divided in half. So if you're going with an LLC, you absolutely would want to select something in the sense of like a S or a C usually. Obviously, I'm not a CPA, so I can't legally make those recommendations, and so I won't. But I can just tell you that out of all the entrepreneurs that I knew, they typically chose an S classification if they had less than 100 employees, because by doing so, it becomes pass-through income. They can pay themselves in dividends, which are very tax advantaged. You can save a ton of money just paying yourself in dividends. And also the wage itself required without the IRS really looking at it weird is about 30% of the net profit of your company. So if your net profit of your company is 100 grand, you take wages at 30%, your wage is 30K, which is not very much, but then you could also take 20K in dividends, and that blended tax rate would be significantly less than if you earn 50K at a job. So it's just ways that it all works out, I guess. Um, make sure you guys check out the link in the description. Join the mailing list. If you're trying to earn funding in the futures market, check out Elite Trader Funding. Link in the description. Use promo code JSBEST and get 50% off for life on every product except the fast track evaluations. We are pushing up towards this volume weighted average price here. Nice big move. The TTM almost completely retraced. We're almost at a cyan switch. I really wish that I would have taken that long that I spoke of here. That would have been a nice move. We're getting close to some divergence on the with the 26. Right now, the 35 has worked its way above the 26, which typically would mean a momentumous move or a reversal trend. I want to try and get in on a pullback here, maybe like right there. Actually, I'm going to cut that. Looking good on the TTM. Just waiting for the next candle, really. We might actually see the 9 cross above the 12. And I guess like as well too, like if you guys like trading stocks or options or crypto, check out Webull. Webull is a link in the description as well. If you guys sign up for that, you'll actually get 6 free stocks when you sign up. So you'll automatically be in the green once you fund your account. You only need to fund your account with $100 and you'll get those 6 free stocks. I really feel like this is going to push up, but it's like not ready yet. TTM is at like what 1.3. It's barely even measurable. TTM is like at 1.3. We're almost at a cyan switch. And once this thing switches to cyan, I would expect that this would run up and test the view up, likely potentially even break through the 200. The 200, as you can see, acted as resistance here and here. We're getting a pullback now off of that 200. If this cyan switch doesn't happen on the TTM, we may see continued pullbacks. I think it's really important that we see that in the indication in order to be able to judge that move to the upside. I absolutely should have taken a trade off of this here, off this doji that I was talking about. Really, honestly, if I had actually been in the charts and not in the on the other screen, I would have taken this move here, just because of like how momentumous. I'm gonna say momentumous because that's what I want to say. It's like Maximus. So, we did not get that cyan switch. We are getting a pullback, and the 12 did not break above the 9. So, the 9 did not break above the 12. Not yet. Okay, it looks like now we're at 0.4. So now we're really close to that cyan switch. It's looking good. I might go for... Man, 7 ticks would be nice. 15 ticks, yeah. I might go for 5. I'm really waiting for that to show up in the indicator, though. And that's why I'm not taking any position yet. Bears won the last round. It was all bearish. This one's actually turning more bullish. So really, like, I guess it'd be like next 1 minute candle, make a new high. Okay, so we did get cyan switch down there. A little bit of a pullback. Join the bid here. Did not get a fill. How much time we got? 30 seconds. Probably best we didn't get a fill yet. This does look like it's gonna rip though. 14 seconds. It's just like standing there. Just like dojing. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I want to see where this 9 is at. It's like right on top of the 12. Sorry if I'm not engaging with the chat at the moment, guys. I'm kind of dialed in. I was too late on that. Try and get in here.
Order filled.
Okay, order filled. Looking for 5 ticks to the up. Hands over the cover button. Ready to cut it if we have to. I'm looking for to hit 41.65.25 to retest this 200 moving average. So then you got break even on the trade at the moment. Come on. We're still stacking up on the TTM, but not as much as I want to. Oh, this thing, honestly, I was really hoping for that breakout to happen right here. Almost got our fill. Cut it.
Order filled.
Took a profit. Up, I think we got 2 ticks on that one. So we're up 331.40 on the day. Looks like I could have got the whole thing, but I was expecting it to rip faster than it did, which is why I cut it. Looks like it did end up actually hitting our move, so we could have hit a lot more than that, but it's okay. Like I said, I'm trying to make sure we stay green. Right now, we have 100% trade accuracy today. We haven't, I believe so anyway. Did we take a loss? I don't think we took a loss. Anyway, this thing's kind of turning around right now, so I'm not going to check. We did just get a 9-12 crossover over the 26. And we got the cyan switch on the TTM. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a pullback here. The 200 moving average is the only thing that's really keeping me from being totally bullish. But I can very much see this running up and actually passing through the VWAP here. So, all right, guys. Just hit it again, guys. The pattern I sent to you in Discord has helped me in the last few trades. That's awesome. Up 200 on the day, dude. Great job. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I want to thank you, SPAC, for showing up. I appreciate you. Thank you, Tiny, for showing up. I appreciate you guys being active in the chat. Really makes this way more fun, way more inspiring. And anybody else who was lurking, thanks for showing up. I appreciate you. Love and appreciate you guys. Please check out all the links in the description, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 market time. All right, guys. Love and appreciation. Peace. Totally. Gotta take this call. All right, peace out.